This time I called Dr. Jack Kevorkian to the stand.
After calling Tom Hyde's brother, Kevorkian's sister and his assistant, and a series of medical experts, Feiger's star witness takes the stand.
Kevorkian had to go on. I mean, I think people want to hear from the Hyde family to make sure that Thomas Hyde's decision was his own and that he wasn't coerced. But I think they also want to hear from Kevorkian. I think they want to like him. Some people have talked about you as being Dr. Death.
Inviting Kevorkian to correct his public image, Feiger asks the doctor to explain his interest in death.
I've been fascinated by death because I wonder what this unknown is facing me. That's one aspect of it. Also, I'm a medical doctor. Death is part of my profession. We don't know anything about it. So let's research into see if we can find out what it is, because it's all philosophy till now.
Can studying death help us with life?
Absolutely. If you know what one is, you know what the other is. If you know what
people, Kevorkian says, have the wrong idea about his work.
People say, well, he's obsessed with death. No, no, no. I'm obsessed with learning something from death that we can use in life.
Feiger now turns his attention to assisted suicide.
Why is it different in terms of medical care and treatment of human beings that we would treat our own kind different than we treat our pets? When we see them suffering and no hope for cure, and we say it's human to end their suffering, why would we treat our own kind who are suffering differently?
It's a philosophic reason.
Feiger asks whether Tom Hyde's decision was, as he says, medically justified.
Was it rational?
Absolutely.
Was it his choice?
We made sure of that.
Was it his life?
Oh, I don't call it life. It's his existence.
Was it his life to make decisions about?
Absolutely. It's his autonomy that must be respected, but is being infringed by what's called a law.
Kevorkian describes Tom Hyde's mood on the morning of his suicide.
He was calm. He had no evidently panic, or he didn't fear death. None of the patients I've helped had any fear of death.
Did you explain to him that the procedure that you were offering him was under his total control?
He knew that all along, yes.
Did you explain to him that he could change his mind at any time?
Those are the last words I said to him.
Feiger attempts to set the record straight on venue. If Hyde died behind Kevorkian's apartment in Oakland County, why did Kevorkian turn himself into Wayne County authorities on Belle Isle?
I wanted to avoid the strong-arm tactics of the Oakland County authorities.
Had they ever strong-armed you?
Oh, yes.
Doctor, where did Thomas Hyde pass away?
He died in my van behind my apartment in Royal Oak.
Feiger concludes his questioning by returning once again to the critical issue of intent.
What was your intent to cause his death?
No.
What was it?
To end his agonized existence, his agony, end his suffering.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Dr. Kevorkian.
Mr. Kenny, you may commence your cross-examination of Dr. Kevorkian.
Prosecutor Kenny tries to show the jury how odd Kevorkian is.
Doctor, you indicated that you had been involved in taking pictures of people's eyes to try to determine the exact moment of death,
yes.
Correct? And can you tell us, please, at the time that you were engaged in that particular work, can you tell us, was it because you just thought that that was interesting?
Partly. I think it is interesting.
Kenny suggests Kevorkian ran into professional problems wherever he went and lost job after job as a result.
And did there come a time during the course of your residency when you were asked to either leave your residency program or discontinue some work?
Yes.
And what was it that caused you to leave?
Another controversial idea.
Kenny tries to impress jurors with Kevorkian's disregard for law.
Once the assisted suicide law was first passed in the Michigan House of Representatives, did you ever tell anybody the stage is set for fun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And would you tell us, please, how do you view that the stage is set for fun now?
Well, isn't it fun when someone makes a fool of himself?
Kenny asks whether Kevorkian had any intention of following the law.
I follow the dictates of the Nuremberg Code.
Okay. And
When your conscience says that law is immoral, you don't follow the law. That's what Gandhi said, too. And Gandhi got what I'm getting.
Next, Kenny engages Kevorkian in a near-comic discussion about what Kevorkian thought would happen after Thomas Hyde inhaled carbon monoxide.
you had every expectation that he would die. Is that correct? From carbon monoxide poisoning?
No, not expectation.
Were
I
you
had a fairly good idea that he would die, but the expectation's the wrong word. That implies something on my part.
Well, did you have any expectation, sir, as to what the result of Thomas Hyde's pulling that string was going to be?
Yes, that his suffering would end. That was my expectation.
And did you also expect that he would die?
No, I surmised he would die. I expected his suffering to end. That was my intention. The expectation means my intention.
And when you say your surmise, what do you mean by the...
That's
you're
a
saying-
guess. That's a guess. Surmise means guess. I think you know that.
So it was just a guess on your part after about 18 other instances of people having carbon monoxide that he would die in this case?
You know, scientifically, there's always a chance that someone may not die breathing carbon monoxide. You guess in all likelihood he will die. You surmise. But my expectation was that his suffering would end. And you can't be sure that would happen.
Were you startled, sir, after 20 minutes to find out that he was in fact dead?
No.
Kenny tries to leave jurors with the impression Kevorkian is a conspiracy-minded crackpot.
Oh, do you believe that in the past that there's been sort of like a conspiracy against you there, sir?
I've said that, yes.
And do you still believe that?
Yes.
Any other questions, Dr. Kevorkian?
No, thank you.
Dr. Kevorkian, you may step down from the witness stand, please.
The next and last witness, Tom Hyde's wife, Heidi. After her emotional testimony, jurors will decide whether Jack Kevorkian leaves the court a free man or not.
Coming up next, the verdict.